dining room. The Highside Bar and Grill offers seasonal cocktails, a full menu, and daily rotating specials. They also have live music every weekend featuring local and visiting musicians. They're located at 300 West Sackett Avenue in Salida. For more information, their website is highsidesalida.com. And Cahin Community Radio is sponsored in part by High Country Bank. High Country Bank offers grants to organizations promoting community development and public education. They have locations in Salida, Buena Vista, Canyon City, and Longmont. High Country Bank, serving the Arkansas River Valley since 1886, member FDIC and equal housing lender. Cahin is supported in part by Hilltop Broadband. Hilltop Broadband for residential and business wireless internet service, serving Salida and Poncha Springs in Chaffee County, as well as areas in Fremont County, Custer County, and more. To experience the Hilltop difference and request new customer information, email info@hilltopbroadband.com or call toll-free 877-783-2889. Well, good morning, Salida. Welcome to the Riverflow Live. I'm your host, Jim Lofgren. I am very happy to announce that I have Marcus Williams in the studio, just chomping at the bit. Man, I've been trying to get this young kid, 22 years old. I saw him at an open mic night, and he just floored me away with his skills on a guitar. It's like, 22, are you serious? It's like, so I finally got him into the studio. I want to welcome to Cahin, Marcus Williams. Welcome to Cahin Studios.
Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate you, man.
Man. How did, at such a young age, how did you get started in music? Did your parents buy you an instrument?
Man, that's pretty much how it happened. I went to my first music festival. I went to my first music festival in Red Bowling Springs, Tennessee. It's up towards Kentucky. And I wasn't playing at the time. You know, I had friends that were bringing me out there. And I got to see all the musicians like in a circle playing music, and that's all it took for me, man. I mean, it was like there was a beam of light being shined down from aliens, and like they were literally like, it was like they were glowing, man. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen or heard in my life. They were having the most fun out of anybody there, and I was like, okay, so I got to do that. So I told my mom that I wanted to play guitar, and I was a big baseball player my entire life, like trying to play college, 3 travel ball teams every summer. You know, I didn't have time to play music or do anything besides baseball my entire life. So the moment I got to like a taste of something that was free and unique and original, I was like, oh my God, I'm in love with this. So she bought me a guitar, and it sat in the corner for 2 months and collected about an inch thick of dust. And me just staring at it one day, and one day it just looked at me funny, man. I picked it up and I just never put it down. I was 18 at that time.
It shows, too. What kind of musical influences did you have growing up in the Nashville area, I understand?
Oh, yeah. Growing up in Nashville, man, I obviously loved Stevie and Jimmy and, like, all the greats, you know, George Thorogood and Humble Pie and, you know, all the great rock and roll bands and blues guys and psychedelic, all that good jazz. But you know, when I first got introduced to Blind Willie McTell and Robert Johnson and Son House and all the original like blind bluesmen and just like people who really, really lived that like, you know, true pain, and I was just taken back and completely startled in a way, like scared. You know, when I heard these guys, I was in fear. Like the first time I heard Son House play guitar, he's just banging on it. It's halfway out of tune, and he's just screaming the blues, and he's like sweating and crying. And I was like, wow, this is exactly what music is like. That raw element of like primal, like, because you know, hundreds and thousands of years ago when our ancestors beat on drums, there were no really genres or this or that or I don't do this or I don't do that. It was just music, and it brought everyone together, and it just made you feel an emotion. And that's kind of what drew me to music. I was like, man, that raw, like, kind of uncut, polished. Like, I was like, man, that's what I want to do. Like,
And growing up in living in Nashville, did you get to hang out in clubs or open mic nights and play with some pretty substantial established musicians?
Oh yeah,
like I
definitely.
would imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely. Dee's Lounge has a old timey jam, and I got to play with a lot of Billy Strings' band there. Like, I've seen his mandolin player there a few times. Trevor, I believe his name is. Real amazing picker, and got to see Marcus King live, and right up close, like 10 feet away from him, just listening to him shred into unbelievable like nonsense. It was just amazing. And there's this other fellow that's in town that's really inspired me a bunch. His name's Luke McQuarrie. He's an old boy from Kentucky, and man, he just is like a fire, like a spitfire dude on the guitar. And I just really was taken away by him, and I was like, wow. And I figured out he was my age, and I was like, oh man, I got to get on it. So I just went home and started practicing like every day, like super hard, because I was like, man, this kid's legit. Like, I need to learn from this guy. And I think that's a huge part of like being a musician, is not being like when you see a 10-year-old just like shredding, not being discouraged, and actually being inspired and thinking, oh my God, like I can do that. If this kid can do that, I can do it. I just need to put in the work, man. So yeah,
it's pretty cool, and your talent the word's been getting around town. And I remember one of my favorite bands have been coming around here since right before the pandemic is the Runaway Grooms, and they played here just not so long ago, but they invited you up on stage, and you're just shredding your guitar with these really cool musicians. I was like, good for you, Marcus. That's awesome. It's like you're fitting right in.
Oh man, that was like one of the best feelings I had in a while, because I had played in like every like mediocre band on the east side of the Mississippi in the past like 4 years. So getting to play with those guys that were really, really just like unbelievable listeners and just amazing like musicians, man. And listening is the number one thing in a musician. Like, you got to hear what everybody else is doing to know what to play, and like those guys just being completely just like, yeah, kid, like grab your stuff and come on. And I could tell a few of them were like kind of looking at each other like, who is this kid? And then once I plugged in and started playing, like all fear was gone, and they just were super awesome, like super friendly guys, man. I got nothing but love for those cats.
And you fit right in, and you're so natural seeing you as like you're a part of the band. So it's pretty cool from this end, from watching you. Yeah. It's like good for Marcus, it's like getting his chops in.
Yeah, that was fun, man.
What kind of guitar are you holding there?
This is a Yamaha Transacoustic that I picked up a few years ago whenever I first played I bought my first guitar. Whenever my mom bought me a guitar, she bought me an $80 Maestro from Walmart. And it was like a black guitar that I named Black Betty, and all of the frets were all like chipped off. All the paint was gone from where I just played it to hell and back. And eventually it started to get, the action got so high to where it was kind of like a dobro. So I just would like play slide on it sitting on my lap, and I was like, man, I need a real guitar. So I was unaware of like how to buy instruments or like how to look for them at the time, because I was just getting into it. None of my family played. None of them showed me anything. So I was completely just learning this stuff on my own. So I went to Guitar Center, of course, like every, just like kid does, I guess, at some point. And I picked up this guitar and I fell in love with it. And I had all this money in cash, right? And it was exactly enough I needed to buy the guitar. So I handed the guy the guitar, and he said, okay, cool, man. Well, we're going to set it up for you and do all this jazz. And I said, cool, man. So I walked around the mall a little bit, and I came back. He said, all right, well, that's going to be $60 extra. And he put the strings on it and did a couple of jazzes that, YouTube would have taught me. And I was like, dude, what? So he wasn't going to let me take the guitar. So I sat there at the Guitar Center until they closed, begging this dude, arguing with him on occasion, to give me the guitar. He wouldn't do it. He literally called the police. The police showed up and were trying to drag me out of the Guitar Center because he wasn't going to give me the guitar. He didn't tell me that he was going to charge me extra money. So I'm like, dude, I just gave you every dollar that I had. So I called my friend Eli Darnell, who is like my brother. I'm an only child, but he is like as close to a brother as I've ever had. He drives 3 hours to come get me. and to give me that $60. And the cops, everybody at the Guitar Center waited 3 hours. We're waiting. I'm like, dude, I'm not leaving. Like, this is my guitar. So we sit there and wait until like 1 o'clock in the morning, and this guy is still just like so gung-ho and like not giving me the guitar. Eli shows up, hands him the money. I go home with the guitar. That's how this thing came into hand.
That's a crazy story. That is cheaper than bail money too.
Yeah, no kidding. And I can't get anybody to drive 3 hours to pay my bail money, so I guess getting somebody to drive 3 hours to buy me a guitar is probably a little bit more in my ballpark.
What is the sticker on the inside of your guitar? I'm looking.
It's a Mommy's Little Monster. It's a social distortion sticker. That was the first show I ever went to. I was 11 years old. My mother was dating this fella. His name was Baby Bird. If I'm talking too much, please cut me off. But
oh gosh, no. Keep talking.
His name was Baby Bird, and he was a biker and like had a bunch of gnarly tattoos, and he was my favorite of Mom's boyfriends. And I was like, man, I just was in love with this guy. He was a banjo player, and he got me into like punk music and like some heavier stuff. And he was like, man, we're gonna go to this show at Layla's. It was at Layla's in downtown Nashville, right there on the strip. Social Distortion was playing in one of the like hippiest, countryest bars like in town. And dude, it was super cold. So he like asking the bar, he's asking the bouncer. He's like, can he sit inside? He goes, yeah, he can sit inside. He can sit inside. So he lets me stand inside. He's like, don't move. So I'm sitting right beside this giant bouncer with a cowboy hat and a beard. I still remember what he looked like. And he goes, don't move. Second by second, they're inching me closer to the crowd. And he keeps looking back, hey, don't move. You move again, I'm kicking you out. Next thing I know, I'm in the middle of the crowd getting crowd surfed to the front of the stage. I get crowd surfed all the way to the front. Mike Ness, who is the lead singer of Social Distortion, to me, like one of the most famous punk bands that have ever lived. And he brings me up on stage, and he tells me, he goes, hey, kid, I had this, like, haircut. He goes, you kind of look like Justin Bieber. I said, man, Justin Bieber. And everyone started cheering, and they started playing a song, and he grabbed me, and in Nashville, the bars, like, have pipelines on the roof from, like, to all the apartments that are upstairs, all the water. He hung me from the rafters. I'm hanging from the rafters with my feet dangling as they're like shredding punk music, and people are like moshing. And I'm 11 years old. It's the first time I've ever been to a show. And that was it, dude. You were hooked. That was hooked, dude. I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked, man. Yeah, so that's cool. That's the story of the sticker. I got a story for my damn shoelaces, I guess. I mean, just about anything.
Hey, you want to play something on that fine guitar?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This one's called The Ballad of Johnny and Becky Lou.
Is this an original?
It is an original.
Awesome.
Johnny and Becky Lou riding home from school, sun shining bright on Tuesday afternoon. Becky said, Johnny, won't you listen real close? Papa singing off till 5 in the morning. We can go out back, you can sing me some songs. Talk about the weather, baby, get it on. He said, oh, baby, that sounds nice. Johnny knew that Becky's day was crazy as a loon. Been to the big house a time or two. But Johnny couldn't give him a care anyway. Becky's got brown eyes to give him any shakes. Ooh, boy, that was something, I mean. I wish I could tell you that's how the story goes, but we all know that's not how it's told. Pops came home and he caught him in the act. Pulled out his pistol, shot Johnny in the back. Kicking, screaming, crying, please don't go. We'll tear in her eyes. She said, please, Lord, no. Johnny caught a bullet, now he's gonna see the Lord. And last thing he said was, I'm gonna full show. Big baby, I'm gonna full show, yeah, yeah. Walks up there to the pearly gates, gets to walking in. Someone says, hey, heaven's for the faithful and the hard-working folk. Hate to break it to you, I ain't never been bold. So don't make a big deal, don't make a show. There ain't a clock in heaven, but I think it's time you go. Said there ain't a clock in heaven, but I think it's time. Ain't a clock in heaven, but I think it's bad time you go. Go get John. Oh, it's in falling now. Down there to the rusty gates, gets to walking in. Someone says, hey, here's for the hateful and the murdering folk. Hate to break it to you, I ain't never been bold. So don't make a big deal, don't make a show. There ain't a clock in hell, but I think it's time to go. Say there ain't a clock in hell, but I think it's time. Ain't a clock in hell, but I think it's about time you go. Go on, get John. Somewhere too far in between. To be honest, ain't as bad as it seems. Whistling and a humming and a singing in the blues. Skipping cake and rice, thinking about Becky Lou. I mean, skipping cake and rice, thinking about Becky Lou. Ballad of Johnny and Becky Lou.
Yeah, I like that.
That is a song that I wrote for my beautiful and dear Southern belle, true and tried mother of mine. She was just absolutely head over heels in love with John Prine, and whenever he passed away, sadly, just like most musicians, I don't get into their music until they die. And that's pretty much what happened. You know, he passed away, and I had a bunch of John Prine records. Common Sense was the first one that I listened to. And I think that I didn't take it off of the spinner for like 3 or 4 days, dude. I just would just boom, boom. Before I even flipped it, I loved the first side so much I didn't even hear the second side. And my poor mother, dude, she sat up in a ball and cried for days, dude. I'd never seen this woman so distraught over somebody that she had never met in her life. That was like, John Prine was like an American staple to her, and it was just like reminded her of her father and just, you know, tons of people that weren't in her life anymore, and just, you know, it hurt her feelings. And she'd always tell me, she said, boy, you ain't gonna make it big till you write a song about your mama. And, you know, it's like, it's not about her, per se. It's about, you know, tons of experiences that I've had, but it definitely was for her. First time I played it for her, she just started crying and just loved it to death. So now every time we're hanging around, I could be anywhere in the world. She'd be like, hey, Mark, play it, Johnny Becky Lou song, play that song. You know, she loves it, dude. So, yeah.
I hope she's listening. Where's she at now?
She is in New Orleans, Louisiana.
All right. Hope you're listening.
Yeah. She's gonna get married at the end of this year, and I'm gonna go down there, and they're gonna have a big old brass band and the whole shebang. So that'll be fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that one was my shoot at John Prine, right? That was my shoot.
That's really cool.
Thanks, man. Thanks. I'm gonna play you guys one more.
I hope so.
Well, a few more actually. Okay, this one's another one's a little chill one. Times were true, far and few. God knows I've cheated and I've stolen, I've lied. There's an empty bottle where a man's heart should lie. Still I know I'll never find sweet love like Caroline. Thoughts of you, thoughts of blue, seem to go echoing through my mind. Seems I've wasted my words 1,000 times. Still I know I'll never find sweet love like Caroline. So Caroline, take me into your arms. See what it's like in the great beyond. Because I don't wanna do this without you. Wish I could. God knows I should. Take back those things I wish I had said. Cowboys and Indians running round in my head. Still I know I'll never find sweet love like Caroline. So Caroline, take me into your arms. See what it's like in the great beyond. Because I don't wanna do this without you. So Caroline, 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 Caroline. Thoughts of you, thoughts of blue, go echoing through my mind. Seems I've wasted my words 1,000 times. Still I know I'll never find sweet love like Caroline. So Caroline, take me into your arms. See what it's like in the great beyond. Because I don't want to do this without you.
Nice.
Thanks.
Another original?
Yeah, that's an original, yeah.
Man, we had an unexpected accompaniment with the squeaky chair.
I was noticing that, dude.
It's like,
Dude, I can't stop moving. So I'm bad about it.
the
Yeah.
squeaky chair gets the grease, right?
Dude, no, that's part of the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Slightly out of tune guitar, squeaky chair. Yeah, that's one I wrote about a few people, but one was my high school sweetheart. Everybody's got that one, you know. And she looked like Coraline off of the Tim Burton flick. So somehow it just transferred into Caroline, and then one of my buddies that's from Boone, he's like, man, that reminds me of home. He's from North Carolina, you know. So yeah, it's just a big old hodgepodge of
Feelings and emotions.
Oh, I'm supposed to ask you about the guitar tuning.
the tuning.
The tuning.
It's just a standard 440 tuning.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought one of the strings was a bunch lower in the first song.
No, I don't think so. No, that was just
Damn.
that's that flat 5, baby. Right? It's the most mysterious note of all.
Nice.
Thanks, man.
How many guitars do you own?
Ooh. Okay,
It's a
well,
personal
I'm past.
question,
I'm
right?
past hands and toes at this point. Yeah, I've just inherited guitars through people who have passed and bought. My house is basically a graveyard for cheap guitars that kick ass. Like, and I just love them so much, and I can't get rid of them. People are like, dude, this isn't worth $50, man. I'm like, dude, I know, but I just love it. And I love, like, little cheap beater guitars. I have a Gibson J45 at the house that my great uncle had passed away, and it was under his bed. And, like, I remember pulling the guitar case out and, like, opening it and just, I mean, it was like gold was radiating from me. This is like an 81, like, this is like prime time bluegrass, like, folk acoustic guitar. This is like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, like, right up their alley. Like, I mean, it's perfect. It's like one of the best recording guitars. I mean, Nashville session guys swear by it, so it's like, that's my main guitar, but I don't ever take it out of the house. This is Darlene. This is one that I've taken on every adventure of mine since I've gotten it, and just like, I can't help but just take it with me, man. It's my road dog. It breaks, I fix it, things snap, things pop.
Interesting enough, this is the first time I've seen you play an acoustic guitar. You're shredding the electric ones and everything. So how many electric guitars do you have?
Well, I actually don't own an electric guitar. That electric guitar you saw me playing is my friend Nick Wyricks, who is living in a camper in the mountains in East Tennessee right now. I mean, it's like he's living on the side of a mountain, literally, and there's a creek and a spring that runs through his front yard, and he's got tons of amazing instruments, but every time I go over there, he's just like, look at this, and they're just rusting and falling apart, and I'm always like, man, like, let me take this and give it some love. And he let me borrow that orange Telecaster that I play, Priscilla, with the black cat on the back. I've been indefinitely borrowing that for the past 3 years, and I've just fixed it up and made it happen. So I actually don't own an electric guitar.
That's interesting to know, because I've only seen you play an electric until you came to the studio.
Yeah,
If you got a dozen acoustics.
Oh, bunch. That's how I cut my teeth, man. I just like was playing an acoustic guitar in my college dorm room for an entire year. So another little side story. I'll keep this one short. I was going to play baseball. Had all these things like, go Mark, go play baseball. I'm like, yeah, but deep down I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just was falling in love with music, and within 2 weeks of me going to Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee, shout out to Governors, even though I was only a governor for like 2 weeks, I was stopped going to classes. I just started failing them, and I was so in love with my guitar, I couldn't think about anything else besides music. So I just sat in my dorm room and stopped going to classes, and I just would sit in there and play guitar for 12 hours a day, like just in there geeking, just tweaking on guitar, like literally. And that's pretty much how I did it, man. I just fell in love with it, and I was like, you know what? School is cool, and for all those school-going kids out there, that's cool, and keep doing that jazz, and make parents proud and all that good stuff. But for me, it just wasn't working at all. Well, my brain just wasn't working at all, I should say. But yeah, so that's how that happened. Well, I guess I'm gonna play you guys this one real fast.
For those of you just tuning in, this is Marcus Williams. He's a local hanging around, and I met him about a year ago, playing open mics and stuff, and you were just busking around town. It's like, who is this kid? And actually, I think I had you scheduled for an interview, and then COVID raised its ugly head, and we came with a mask mandate. You can't do an interview with masks on in here and have you play, so I think everything was canceled. I think I canceled like 7 interviews. But now you're here back this year, so man, thank you for coming in. You were on my bucket list to get you in here and help promote your music and your talent around here. It's like, now after I canceled and stuff, did you disappear for the winter? Did you go back to Nashville?
I did. I went back to Nashville, and I skipped around in New Orleans, and I got buddies in Mississippi and San Marcos, Texas, and I just was a professional couch surfer, like cowabunga. Like, I mean, I was I was like in the game. And I just skipped around playing music and meeting folks, and I worked a government job. Well, I call a government job just a job that you get like a paycheck. That's a government job to me, and I hated it, absolutely hated it. And I'm glad we got on that topic, because I actually wrote a song about it. because I was riding in a van all day, and I was making deliveries for Waters and motorcycle parts and whatnot and artwork and such, and sometimes I'd be on a 12-hour road trip just in a van by myself, and I would be just skimming through the radio so much that my hand was like, had a cramp, dude. Like, I would just be like, trying to find something on the radio that was actually worth listening to. And, you know, countless days of that happening, I just started to get sick of it. So I thought I'd write a song about how terrible the Nashville radio scene is. So I just want to say, like, I'm super grateful that somebody like you can be super nice and, like, just, you know, like, down to earth and, you know, actually, like, a human and to musicians.
Well, I take that as a compliment.
No, definitely is. You believe it or not, it's not as common as you'd like to think.
Did songwriting come natural to you?
I wanted to be a songwriter when I first picked up a guitar. I didn't even want to play chords or scales or nothing like that. I didn't care. All I wanted to do was just go like this and sing. Because I loved Cage the Elephant. That was like I was like, oh my God. Like when I heard Cage the Elephant songwriting, that whole spacey kind of like indie, but it's also punk rock at the same time. I was like, whoa, this guy's cool. So I wanted to sing and play guitar, and then slowly but surely, I think I heard live at the Fillmore East Allman Brothers, I think it was like 71 or 72, hearing Dwayne playing slide, and every hair on my body stood straight up, and I was like, okay, so I don't know, like songwriting's gonna have to take a break, because I'm slowly but surely realizing that like all these guitar players that are amazing are pretty, like, some of them are pretty average songwriters, and, like, but people show up to their shows and listen to them because the guy who shreds guitar, like, he shreds guitar, so people show up and they listen. But, you know, it's like people who are amazing songwriters sometimes, like, get overlooked because they don't play their instrument. And I just was like, I don't want that to happen to me. I want to be able to write songs, sing songs, and be able to play guitar with that, you know, so I've been trying to balance it, like, as the years have been going by.
And I remember there's a lot of songwriters in Nashville that were writing, like Lucinda Williams was not a performer, she was a writer, and like Mary Chapin Carpenter covered her songs and stuff, and finally she got out and did her own music, and she's a huge success now. But songwriting's always been fascinating to me because I never was a natural of writing down words. Poetry didn't come easy. But when I meet songwriters, it's fascinating to me how they can put together words to a song. And your original songs are really, really cool, and it impresses me a lot that you have that ability, and it's just natural. And from a young age, it's like, wow, that's cool.
Thank you, Jim. That's just the Great Spirit, man. Like, literally, I'm just a vessel for this stuff, dude. Like, the moment that I got to see what, like, you know, real goodness was like, and real true light, like, within a being was, and, like, what it meant when I looked my best friend, like, in the eyes, and I felt that, you know, and that was, to me, everything that I needed for proof, you know, and my entire life I was like, where's my proof, you know, I'm so stubborn, you know, father's son, like, for sure, but, you know, the moment that I got to actually feel, like, what that felt like, I just never went back, man, and music is the way that I praise, and music is the way that I, you know, somehow try to give back to that in any way that I possibly can.
Well, you've got a great future in music, man. Just stay focused and don't get lost in the shuffle or anything.
I'll try not to. I do get lost in the shuffle sometimes, man. I just be going like this all day. And that's getting lost in the shuffle for me. But yeah, I'm gonna play this one that I actually wrote prior to knowing about Steve's death. And if anyone here doesn't know about Steve Casera, he was a Magic Man, banjo player extraordinaire.
What a pillar of our community, man. What a great guy.
What a fantastic human. And I had lost my job rafting. I had gotten fired rafting because I went to Red Rocks for like 5 days in a row, partied super hard, realized that I was supposed to be at work for 4 of those days. So when I come back, I respectively didn't have a job. You know, shout out AE, those folks down there, love them. And I just was like, I was just blown away by Steve's kindness, man. I came to Salida, I was sleeping under the stage over here in a sleeping bag under the main stage for 2 days. Fib Arc happened. I was playing music on the street. Steve came out and was just like, hey, let's play. You know, he started picking banjo with me. Next day I woke up and I thought, God, that guy's never going to call me again. That was terrible. I thought I just was banging on the guitar. And he ended up calling me back and said, hey, let's play some music. So I told him my situation, and he let me stay at the sign shop. One thing led to another. He introduced me to Henry and Jennifer, his girlfriend and son. And we just, like, totally hit it off and fell in love with each other. And I started staying there, and, like, I was, like, another part of the family. We would wake up and eat breakfast and play bluegrass music, and it was beautiful. I mean, he showed me the ropes, man. Like, straight up, he showed me the ropes. He told me how to be a businessman and how to, you know, carry yourself, like, as a performer, and, like, so many different things that, like, I just totally just slipped my mind, because no one that I'd ever known that was a performer had ever tried to show me anything. So, like, I'd never, no one in my family, no friends, like, none of that. Like, it was just truly me, like, falling on my face, like, over and over and over again, like, before I figured some things out. And Steve kind of helped me chip away at that a little bit. And this is one I wrote for a bunch of different reasons. I'm super inspired by Ray Charles, but somehow or another, I just, like, when I came here and I figured out about Steve's death, like, it just somehow reminded me of Steve. So now when I play it, I feel like his spirit's always just, like, hovering over me.
His passing affected a lot of people in this town. He was such an asset to the community and such a positive force and stuff. And it was really sad to hear his passing and stuff so suddenly. But his kindness, I mean, that's what lives on, is what he's known for, kindness and generosity.
So, so this one's called Good Times. Just when it's a brand new day, and it all seems come my way, Lord, it's a light that moves me. Yes, Lord, it moves me time after time. Nowadays all I can do to keep from crying, Lord, it's I me cry. Yes, I just remember, I remember, yeah, good times will come, and good times will last, Lord, yes, I mean that. We'll share the joy, yes, and we'll share the laughs, baby, yes, I mean that. Yes, good times will come, and good times will pass. Woo-hoo. So take a step outside. What do I see? What do I see, babe? Brothers and sisters alike, always somehow they divide. That makes me wonder, baby. Yes, it makes me wonder, darling, just how long it will last. Then I remember that good times will come, and good times will last. Yes, all I mean last. We'll share the joy. Yes, we'll share many laughs. Lord, I mean many laughs. Yes, good times will come, and good times will pass. Woo, yeah, baby. So in your darkest time, oh, friend, peace you will find. So wipe the tears, I mean, from your eyes. I mean the tears, I mean, from your eyes. I mean the tears from your eyes, baby. Oh, when you're feeling blue, friend, when it gets to you, there was no reason to run. 'Cause good times will come, and good times will last. Lies I mean that. Yes, I mean we'll share the joy, baby. Yes, I mean we'll share. Yes, good times will come, and good times will pass.
Nice song. I enjoy watching the passion you put into the music and stuff. You're really enjoying this. What a great song.
Can't help it.
Well, I enjoy it. That's original and it's truth. I mean, wow, the passion in you. That's really cool. At a young age, the future is just wide open for you. I remember 22. I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
I still don't either, bro. I still don't either.
It's all right.
I'm just making it. This weekend I'm gonna be in Fort Collins for any of my Fort Collins folks, and I'm literally driving out there and I'm gonna busk on the streets and make enough money to get back. I've fallen in love, so now I'm just like I'm head over heels, just like driving 4 hours to go see this woman, and yeah, like I have no money. Like, and I'm
There
still
you
going.
go. Of course, once you're in love and you found a long distance, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll literally play guitar at gas stations until I make enough money to get to the next one, and I just keep doing that until I get there. Like, literally, I've done it.
Well, hopefully you'll have enough money to get up there and get back. So.
Oh yeah, I'll be fine. I told you, man, the good Lord makes it happen for me. I don't even have to ask. It just. I swear, dude, it's unbelievable. Like, I'm hungry, like food falls out of the sky. It's crazy.
I found out that living in a state of gratitude and kindness and stuff, and that blessings do open up and stuff. And
Absolutely.
Don't let negativity affect you. Live in the moment. Express kindness and gratitude everywhere, and the blessings just open up. It's just amazing how the universe works like that.
It's a trip, ain't it? I mean, the moment that you're like, show me anything, it's like, bang, right there. It's like before you can even finish your sentence, you're like, okay, show me something again. I'm like, nah, it don't work like that. You just gotta take it when you can, man.
Well, I wish you luck up in Fort Collins. You got a good bunch of buddies up there. You gonna jam or something?
Yeah, there's
musician friends?
a few fellas, and 3 Days in a Saddle is a band that I've been playing guitar with, and Bones as well. I've been playing guitar with Bones. We're playing on the 16th here at the Tap House, and on the 22nd and the 23rd, I'll be playing at the Soggy Dollar, or what's it called, the Soggy Surfer?
Soggy Surfer.
I call
now.
it something different every time. I've been
It used to
calling
be the Soggy Dollar, but I think there was some other bar venue that was called that, and I think they had to do a cease and desist, change their name type of thing.
Gotcha.
Sort of like Soulcraft had to do with Hubbub and stuff like that.
Okay,
So.
gotcha. Yeah, and I got some friends in Fort Collins. I went up there for the first time just a week or so ago, and I was going to play with 3 Days in the Saddle, and I did, and ended up falling like head over heels in love with these kids. Like, they're just awesome cats. And then I think I was playing at Cervantes, I believe it was,
Yeah.
and there was a house band that was playing after us, and I knew one of the kids from Nashville. He recognized me and was like, hey. And I was like, dude, that's so cool. So my guitar was already up there. I got to jam with him for like 3 or 4 hours. We just had so much fun. So I'm going to go up there and hang out with them and her, and you know, I'll go jam with them on Tuesday. I'll play with them on Tuesday. So yeah, I'm pretty much just going up there to just like ramble around and have something to do, really.
Heck yeah, you'll have fun. You're
Yeah.
playing guitar and just bring that passion with you and that excitement.
I can't leave it at home. I can't get rid of this thing.
Yeah, we got about 15 minutes or so. Can you fill up that space talking and playing?
Absolutely, totally can.
Do you have any big lies or tall tales you can tell?
Ooh, I got a song that is a very tall tale, but it's as true as the day is long. There was a fella in my hometown that we were best friends whenever we were in elementary school together. And he gets about 16 or 17, and he gets messed up in some real like deep like drug issues. And he was selling drugs and running drugs and just being like a hellion. And the people from our hometown, he got caught with like bricks of drugs and like all this crazy stuff. And this was like my homie whenever we were, 9, 10 years old. So basically, he's gonna get put in jail for 44 years at 16 years old. And it was just this thing in my hometown that people were like, dude, like, no, like, let him, dude, like, yeah, he messed up, but, I don't think it's worth, like, ruining his entire life. He's a 16-year-old kid. He didn't kill anybody, as far as we know. And to protect everybody, the names were changed and places and events were just slightly changed, but this is a true story. Sun's going down, boy. It's the end of my day. It's St. Joe's barroom where I spend all of my pain. Man in the corner singing sad, lonely blue. Warden held down, he said, boy, you got to pay your dues. Ain't one man, many men have tried. Many have stepped to me, boy. Many have died. Well, now that I'm a free man, sit down and sing the blues. I know that's me, baby. Skies are running blue. All 'cause I ran Georgia whiskey. Moonshine from Tennessee. All 'cause I ran Georgia whiskey. Moonshine from Tennessee. Well, Judge Maxie don't say that best man. Going back on example out of me. Well, I hopped the train in Memphis, ended up in New Orleans. Yes, indeed. Well, I hopped the train in Memphis, ended up in New Orleans. Well, Judge Maxie don't say that best man. Go back on example out of me. Where's that man now? And the sun is winning night. I'm counting my bricks while I'm doing 40 for the light. My mama is crying, should have seen her on the stand. The only thing that could break this here man. All 'cause I ran Georgia whiskey. Moonshine from Tennessee. 'Cause I ran Georgia whiskey, moonshine from Tennessee. Yeah, Judge Maxie don't say that best man. Gonna make an example out of me. Oh, that's right, come down all the time. from Tennessee.
Yeah, nice song.
Thanks, dude.
Man, you're showing your prowess on that guitar. You got some nimble fingers there, dude. Man. What happened to your friend? Did he get a commuted sentence?
No,
He's 44 years and 16.
No, they actually acquitted him, and he got off on all charges. He is living in a trailer 3 houses down from me. He has no idea that I've written a song about him. He has no idea that I still even know who he is. And I saw him at the gas station like 2 years ago, and I smiled at him real big. He smiled at me and kept on walking, didn't even know who I was. So he has no idea that I've written this song about him. He's got a wife and a kid. He's got 2 little kids, 2 little baby girls, and they're both tiny as hell. They're both like little babies, like brand new last time I saw him. And yeah, he has no clue, and now he's just living his life like completely. He's a working man. Every time I see him, he's got a construction shirt on and he's full of dirt. So he's just working his ass off.
I hope he got away from the dark drugs.
Oh, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. He looks 1,000 times better than when I saw him when we was kids, man. I was like, whoa.
Sometimes it takes us a hard lesson to learn something.
That's right. That is right. I heard that. And sometimes it takes, standing in front of the judge and seeing your mama drop on her hands and knees crying to really make you think, oh, all right. Well, this maybe I should be doing something different.
No joke. We got about 5 minutes before we have to close up this show and stuff.
Cool.
Man,
I got one more for you.
one longer song. Man, I'm excited to have Marcus Williams in the studio. Man, I wish you luck in the future and safe travels to Fort Collins. And promise you'll come back. I know that woman is going to get you up there and we'll never see you again. It'll be Fort Collins. That's the way it works. Fort Collins game, slide is lost.
Yeah, dude, Fort Collins is a cool little spot, man. I really enjoy it. It's like, I thought Salida was hoity-toity when I came out here, and then I went to Fort Collins, and I was like, what, man? Like, whoa.
We're kind of ghetto here.
I know, this is the hood down here, man. They got gangs and, like, all kinds of jazz down here. All the kids that hang out in the parking lot and cause all that mess. One of them threw a firework under my car the other day while I was sitting in it. I was like, boys, we're going to have an issue here. So if you boys are listening, know that I'm waiting on you. No, I'm kidding. All right, I'm going to play you guys one more, man. Let's see what we got on here. All right, so I told you that I was going to play you that one that I wrote about, the radio in Nashville.
Yeah.
So this is it. Woke up out the bed this morning feeling something strange. If you want to see that time well spent, then you gotta get a change. I remember time when we get together and tap our shoes. Your heart would keep the rhythm, little baby, and your soul would sing the blues. And that sweet sound of that water music take me home. Unplug the jukebox, it makes me sad. Calling national music, borrow them, but you on that. Well, I ain't got the time to tell, and I ain't got the breath to waste. I don't think you'd understand. It feels right in front of your face. That sweet sound, but that water music take me home. Take me home, baby. Kept my mouth shut, baby, and I think that it's about time. Up on the radio, about to make me lose my mind. One of those songs, some backbone, get some boogie or some groove. That ain't got dollar amount yet. Down the road I move, let that sweet sound, muddy water music take me home. And let that sweet sound, muddy water music take me home.
Williams, I'm so glad you came in.
Oh,
what a young talent we have here. And if you ever see him around, man, Ethan over there at the tap house, man, we need to get Marcus up there on the stage.
Yes,
Did you assemble a band of vocals and stuff? I guess Ezra's out of the picture now.
Yeah, I get
Ed and I's always wanting to play bass or drums.
He is, man, he is. He's
a
a wild
kid.
cat, that's for damn sure.
I've stumbled across you guys like jamming on a Sunday afternoon, unadvertised, just riding my bike through town and hear this incredible music, and just you guys just free-form jamming. It's like really incredible. And do you have anything you'd like to say to the audience before we?
Oh man,
we got about a minute left before I have to turn over to Big Bird.
Man, I just want to say thanks to you personally, thanks to all you guys for making this happen. Like like a hillbilly from like me from Tennessee, man, it's one of the biggest things that I've ever kind of like run up on. So like this means a lot to me. Like it really does. Yeah,
that's what my show's about. Is promoting the local music scene. It's like we got an incredible. We are the live music hub of Colorado, or someone called it was the vortex. We suck all the live music down into the central Colorado. It all gravitates to here. So.
That's right. And yeah. Jim is the guy who supports any and every musician that has ever come through this town, dude. I swear to God, anytime I'm busking, Jim's always got a few bucks, and he always comes over and says hi, stops, listens for a second. Like I've never met anybody who is just so like absolutely keen on. Like showing musicians like some love, man, and I just want to say thanks, dude.
It's my pleasure, and I feel it's blessed to live in this town and be a part of this community. Man, it's like be kind, be grateful, make somebody smile today. And it's Friday. May your day be filled with kind people, happy moments, and unexpected blessings. Man, tune in next week. Riverflow Live. I have Hogan and Moss in the studio at 11. Man. Have fun this week and enjoy this heat. It could be worse. You could live in Oklahoma. Oh, it's top of the hour. Back to Big Bird.